everybody. Welcome to 2023. We're almost at the end of the first month. Today is January 28th, Saturday. I'm Kelly, and this is the Loch Briar Knits podcast. Welcome to all the new and returning viewers. So there's quite a bit to talk about today, actually. For anybody that watched my Make 9 for 2023 episode, I'll link it somewhere here if you haven't. But my goal this year is to knit everything from stash. I am not allowed to buy any new yarn until I have knit. I had originally said 3 sweaters from stash, but I think I am going to push that and say 4, which I think is sort of half the amount. I think on my list, I think I had 8 sweaters on my list and then one other thing. So yeah, I am going to complete 4 sweaters from stash first. And I had also done the list of sweaters that I was fairly certain I was going to make. I am allowed to mix that up if I decide to opt into a different sweater. The only caveat is that I can switch the sweater design, the pattern, but I cannot change the fact that I have to knit it from stash, which comes into play in a pattern addition that got added into the mix that I really wanted to knit. So I had to see if I had the correct yarn, which was a little difficult, but I think we've got it nailed down. I do have a finished object. I finished my super simple summer sweater. Why are you not wearing your super simple summer sweater, Kelly? Well, funny that you should ask. It's only a minor tale of woe. This is the sweater. I washed it, I blocked it, and I tried it on, and it fits perfect except for one part. First off, let me just show you this glorious sweater. I love the colors. I knit this in Illimani Baby Llama. Get this up. Sorry, pigeon just flew by the window going boo. So it's in, yes, charcoal and then the dark gray. It is so squishy and soft. It is insane. It's the length that I want. It's the color that I want. It fits perfect. I can get it over my head. What's the problem, Kelly? Well, here's the problem. I forgot to do a stretchy bind off. Now, I always do a stretchy bind off. I think I was so excited about having this done and getting it done so quickly that my brain just went and I completely forgot. So when I put it on like here, it goes to about here, but then you can't, it catches. It catches like right at the hip bone so that it doesn't drape. And then it would kind of ride up a bit because it wasn't draping. That's not going to work. So what I'm going to do this weekend is I'm going to put a lifeline in, kind of like right, I'll go up a couple of rows just to be on the safe side. And then find where I bound off. So here's kind of where I wove in the ends. And when I weave in the ends of a sweater or of anything really, I usually leave, like you'll kind of see, I usually leave like a little bit of a longer end thing, just so that it doesn't, after you kind of soak and block it, but also then after you're wearing it, it's less likely to kind of flip through, like just kind of prevents that. So that is my project. I may do that. I think I may do that tomorrow actually. And I did put a little tie in the back so I knew where the back was. It's done. It just needs a minor repair and then because it's all soaked and blocked, so it's ready to go. So for the stretchy bind off, there's one that I usually do, and that's the one from Very Pink Knits where And I always have to watch it before I do it because I constantly forget. But I think she does the bind off, but then she puts the remaining stitch back onto this needle and then knits that one again, so that you almost have like an extra stitch that you're knitting, and then that gives it a nice stretch to it because you have those extra stitches sort of in there, if that makes sense. But the other one I was toying with was Andrea Mowry says what she usually does is she'll go up quite a few needle sizes to do like the bind off row, and then that's enough to kind of give it the give that you need. I've never tried that one before. I know the other one works, but I am tempted to try that. And I think what I might do is I'll put the lifeline in, but I'm going to leave the lifeline in, and then if I don't like the look of the one with the larger needle sizes, and I think she says she goes up quite a few needle sizes to make sure that it does have that give to it, that I can still go back again and then just redo it with the very pink knits one. So I might do that, or I might just err on the side of caution and do the very pink knits one. So that is my finished object-ish. It is finished. We're calling it a faux. Now, of course, when I finished the one sweater, I went and wound up the yarn for the next sweater, which is the classic sweater by Espace Tricot. If any of you guys have been with me for any length of time, you know I've already knit this sweater. I knit it out of Mayak and Good Fribrations Winter Sea for the Mohair. I love it. It's one of my absolute favorite sweaters. And it's a free pattern. I think you can just get it right off their website. You may also be able to get it on Ravelry. I can't remember where I got it. I think I might have gotten it on Ravelry. This is the sweater, and it's basically you mix fingering weight with a mohair. And the first one that I knit, I made the neck 6 inches long because I wanted a really nice warm neck on it. This one, I think I'm going to go with the 4 inches, which I believe is where I'm at now because I have cast it on. So first, let me show you the yarns. So I am using, this is Illimani Echo Llama, and this is, I believe, the camel colorway. So it's the Echo Llama, Illimani Echo Llama. It's a fingering weight yarn. There's like 402 yards in a skein. It's 100% baby llama, made in Bolivia. But it doesn't have like a color name, although if memory serves, I believe this was like camel, and then the darker one is called coffee maybe. And when I bought this skein, I think it's around the same price now. You get like the 402 yards for about $17, $18. So if you're doing like a fingering weight yarn, you can literally do a sweater for about like $60, which is amazing. Unless you had mohair to it, then the cost goes up. So these are the 2 yarns. Now this is Spring Fever by Good Fribrations. I love the colors that she does in her mohair. Like, it's so pretty. So these together look like, okay, so I have started the neck. Like, isn't that pretty? It's getting a little blown out because the sun's sort of doing its weird thing today. This has me at, I am about 3¼ inches right now, so I don't have that much further to go. And I think I will do the 4 inches on this one. I may also make it a little shorter than I did the original, just because I thought where I am making a second one, I would just kind of change the design up a little bit. I am going to do the split hem, but I think what I might do where it is a little bit of a longer one, I might bring it up to maybe like about here. I might bring it up just a little past my hip. I'm not sure yet. I'll get to that point and then decide. And I did end up doing, I did the first size on this one, and I think on my other one I did the second size. So my other one is very roomy, it's nice and flowy. So I just thought I'd do this one just a little more fitted and then kind of shorten it a little bit. And then do the 4-inch neck instead of the 6-inch neck. So those were the modifications I made, nothing like super major. That's in one of my loop bags. The other thing is, in the last episode for the Make 9, I said I wanted to use up my mini skeins from my 2021 advent calendar, which I had not done anything with. And so the colors in the skeins, I mean, they were pretty, but a lot of them I was like, I don't know what I would do with it because I didn't know how well they really blended together for my palette. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to find, I was thinking I want like a wedge scarf, and I thought that would show it off pretty good. So I found a pattern, and it's from Mermaid's Pearl, and it is called, it's called 2021 Advent Mini Scarf. It's a very simple pattern. It's basically like literally a wedge. This one was made for the 20 gram skeins, and my 2021 advent calendar was 10 gram skeins. But this only uses, I think, 13 of the 20 gram minis. So I should be fine using all of 10 gram minis. First, I was just like, I was not sure if I was gonna like how the colors blended or how I was gonna blend them to put them in a palette that for me was kind of my jam, but I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Now, I got this, which if you watch the January vlog, this was the one skein. I really did not like it at all. It is not my color palette. I just found the colors kind of ugly. It was just not my thing. But I thought, I'll get that one out of the way first, because I thought it did blend well with this color. So my plan originally was to kind of do a darker color, then a lighter color, and then kind of maybe one of the lightest or speckled colors. But then I realized I didn't quite have enough of them that were speckled to sort of do that. So I just basically kind of stuck with that sort of premise, but I altered it when I needed to. So I'm on my 11th colorway. So here's what we've got. So right now, don't knock them off. I'm kind of halfway through this color, and then I'm gonna add this color because it has like a very kind of faint bluish gray tint to it. There's a reason why I picked that one, I forget. My plan was to try to at least get 3 skeins or 4 skeins that sort of went together. So for this section, it started with kind of like the sagey, greeny gray color. And then this had some greens in it. And then next up, I'm just gonna do like the gray. And then what I'm going to do, maybe I'll do this. So I'm gonna finish with this one, and then I'm going to put in this one after it. But then I'm going to go navy, like really dark navy, and then kind of like a navy gray, and then I'm going to follow that with a light gray, and then I'm going to follow it with this sort of speckled variegated one. So that's the plan. Of course, once I put them back into the basket, they get all out of sequence, and then I forget what I said I was going to do. So anyway, this has actually been getting a lot of attention. This is excellent stress knitting. So what I have discovered too is I get about 10 rows going back and forth. And when I'm done, I have like maybe about like this much left. It's just shy of enough finish, like going back and forth one more time. Just shy. That's been my stress knitting. You see how long it's getting? And then finally, Jessica McDonald came out with a new pattern, colorwork pattern called My Fletching. And it is beautiful. I will stick up a picture. I'm going to say here because it looks like I've got room here on this side. I have the hiccups. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to knit that. And then I couldn't remember if it was in her 4th book, and it's not. It's a brand new one she's come out with aside from the patterns that are in the 4th book. It's so lovely. I love it. I love it. And it is one of those ones that she designed so that if you're a first-time colorwork knitter, it's like the perfect sweater to start with. I kind of looked, I was reading the pattern through, went and I bought the pattern. She's really almost like an auto buy for me. So I went and I looked at the pattern. It's made out of sport weight yarn. I don't have a lot of sport weight yarn. So I went to, because I was like, okay, I really want to knit this and I may not have the yarn for it, but I can't buy any new yarn. So what I did was I thought, I wonder if I have any of the BC Garn Samilla Pura, because I knew I had some. So I did find, no, sorry, the Samilla Melange. So I did find some of that, but I did not have enough. So, but I had it in some great colors, like, and then I had one color in cream, and the cream and this looked so good together. I thought if I could have that one in cream and then like have that as the contrasting color, I was like, that would just be so ideal. And it's very close to kind of, I think she had like cream and then more of like a dark, I'd say like a dark, I want to say dark marigold maybe, but dark gold kind of on the colorwork design. And it's just like the main color and one contrasting color. So I had 3 in the cream, but these are 50-gram skeins, so that just wasn't going to cut it. So I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? So I thought, worst case scenario, if I had to get 3, I figured I would probably need 3 or 4 more skeins of the 50-gram, and they're not that expensive. So I was like, okay, that's not like going to break the bank. But the point wasn't so much not to break the bank. Well, it was like don't break the bank. But my reason for using the stash was because I have a lot of sweater quantities yarn and I want to use it up. So I thought, okay, so I was kind of going through, because I've got a majority of my stash. I thought I had all with the exception of a few of the new little things that I bought maybe near the end of last year. Kind of maybe from mid-year on, that I knew I didn't have in the stash. But I was pretty sure that I had all of my sweaters quantity in there. So I was going through looking at my sport weight yarn, and none of them are really working because I wanted like a lighter color, because I did really want to use this because this is sport weight. And I had my heart set like on kind of like a creamy base. So I was looking, I was like, I was so sure I had more, that I had a sweater's quantity of the Samilla Pura, but I couldn't find it in my stash. So I'm literally sitting up here on my chaise, going through the stash that was on Ravelry. And I'm going through going, I was sure that I had it. Meanwhile, sitting just over at my desk here is a gray basket where I have 3 sweaters quantity of yarn. I have my 2 sweaters quantity of knit picks in the dark gray and the dark brown in worsted, and sitting in front of that, I had a sweaters quantity in Samilla Pura in cream, which is a sport weight. So I'm literally sitting there going, I was sure I had it. It was sitting right in front of me the whole time. So that was my tale. So, and these are pretty inexpensive as well. This was like $25. Not like inexpensive, but it wasn't like, you know, a whole lot. But this is the BC Garn Samilla Pura, and it's their 100% organic wool. And this is literally cream. And it is the exact same. There's 350 meters per 100 gram. And it's 100% wool. And the only difference between the Semilla Pura and the Semilla Melange is that the Pura is the natural shades, and then the Semilla Melange comes in a variety of colors. Now these come in 50 skeins. These are in, not 50 skeins, 50 gram skein. 50 gram skeins, and these come in the 100 gram skeins. So as it turns out, I have enough to make the sweater. I am so excited. And I think this may be the sweater I do next, which would work out pretty good because I don't think it's going to take long. Like if it's anything like my blizzard sweater, it's going to be off the needles really fast because the color work was so addictive. The pattern was so well written that it was like just simple. Like you didn't even have to think. It was just so, it was laid out so lovely. And by the time I finish the classic sweater, I want to have the classic sweater done by the end of February. Then I can have this one ready for the end of March, which would be perfect where it's a sport weight and you're kind of getting into more of the springtime weight yarns to wear. So that is my plan. And the other thing I was thinking, I didn't mention what I was wearing, but this is my Pebble Bay pullover by Marie Green. This was the sweater that I knit. I did a knit along. Marie Green has a book called A Sweater in 2 Weeks, and she has a bunch of patterns in there. So I think it was 2 years ago, I did a knit along for anybody who wanted to try to knit a sweater in 2 weeks, and then we ran it for like 2 months. So you didn't have to get done in 2 weeks, but between 2 weeks and 2 months. So I did manage to get this done in 2 weeks, and I absolutely love it. I love how it fits. Like it's just a classic kind of raglan pullover. And it's very warm and cozy. I knit this out of, oh my God, I forget, but I'll put it down below. And I have this yarn in a really beautiful dark green color. And I'm thinking I really want to make another one of these, and I would love to do it in the green. The green is really nice. And I love how it knit up. The other thought I had when I was looking for yarns was I could use that and then maybe use like the cream, because I have a cream color in this to do it, but I just really love the way that she did the cream and the gold. I just love the look of it. And this burnt orange color, if you've been with me for any length of time, you know burnt orange is one of my favorite colors. So I think that's what I might do for this one. And for the life of me, I cannot read. That's going to drive me crazy, the name of that yarn. I'll put it down here though. Anyway, that is everything that's going on. So basically between now and next episode, I really want to, I'll have my super simple summer sweater fixed because I'm going to do that either. I'll probably do that tomorrow because we're going out to dinner. So I don't know if I'll have time before that. I may get the lifeline put in today, and then tomorrow I'll just do the unwinding. That's what that is, unwinding. Then I am going to put a big dent in my classic sweater. I would like to get maybe down to about here. That should be doable. Maybe I'm saying that and then something always kind of gets in the way from a time perspective. That scarf is knitting up fast. Like I'm doing a stripe to a stripe and a half in the evenings. So I may try to get like a good chunk of that done this weekend as well. We don't have a whole lot on the go this weekend. We got the main thing with the couch shopping out of the way. I don't think we have anything going on tomorrow. I have to do groceries, and I believe that's it because I was planning on doing this tomorrow, and I had a little pocket of time, so I just had to do it today. I was gonna say today. That's like tonight and today. Oh, do I have it here? Oh, I do. I really need to get myself organized because I really feel like the last year, like there's just been so many balls in the air and I feel like stuff is kind of falling between the cracks, things that I need to get done. And now that I'm back to my writing, I have deadlines there and I have things that I got like balls in the air that I need to be aware are in the air so I don't drop them, basically. My last bullet journal, it's by Dingbats. So this one is the Great Barrier Reef. And they kind of give you all of like the information there. They're kind of conservationist. And then they give you all of the information. I normally, when I would do my planner, I would do like kind of a monthly spread like that. And then I would just basically do sort of like goals like that. And then I would do kind of like a weekly spread. That was good, but I found that I was like, there's a lot of things that sort of like high level planning that I need to be aware of as well. So I did a bit of a bullet journal reset, and then I did literally high level planning. And then I kind of broke it down, like yarn dyeing on one page, finances, home repair, annual home declutter, workout and health. Like, so, and then I would sort of break it down and do those sort of like weekly, but then I don't know, it's just like I got out of the habit of doing it. I've got to get back on track because I feel like things feel like they're piling up and I'm not aware of them. So I ordered myself a new one because this one was almost full and I wanted one for the full year all in one place. So I ordered 2 more of these and I couldn't decide between which planner I wanted. There was one with a reindeer on it that was like a nice dark green, and then there was one with an elephant on it that was a nice dark gray. So I just ordered both of them because I figured I'll use them. So yeah, I've got to kind of get my planner built up and get myself organized again. What I will do as well is it's going to help me stay on track with my knitting progress. Here's another thing that I do want to do, knitting related. I want to go through and kind of count how many skeins of yarn I have, which is going to be horrifying. I know. I'm not going to count mini skeins. And if I have partial skeins, like you can't actually see it here, but my big wicker basket up here, which has all of my leftover bits, I'm not counting that. So I think what I am going to do, I'm going to go through and I am going to count my yarn stash and make sure that everything that I have in stash is in my Ravelry, on my like Ravelry account page for stash, so that when I do a project, I can then eliminate like, okay, I had this much, now I used up that, now I have this much. I would love to keep in my bullet journal a section that is like literally a running total so that I can see how much yarn I get through this year without buying any new yarn. Now, that said, I had my gift card from Christmas. So I did buy a skein of yarn, and this skein of yarn is huge. It's like massive. It's Mohair. And it is 1,000 meters, which is 1,093 yards. I think I had shown in a previous episode, I had taken my Joji long, and I think it's called Alba, the yarn that I used. Now, it is a linen and wool blend. So I knit my daily sweater. I knit that in the orange colorway. I don't like the fabric it makes. I don't find it drapes very well. The yarn doesn't bloom the way like wool would, so that every little mistake or imperfection I find just shows up, and I just don't like the drape of it. So I have it in green as well. And I had taken that and I had meshed it together, and I know I have it here. So I blended it with mohair just to see. I blended it with a gray mohair, and I found that gave it a much more woolly feel to it. I'll drop that. And I love the color it made. But then I saw this. I thought that the variegation in this would really maybe blend nicely with that. So Let me see if I can do this without making a total mess. And there's going to be more than enough to do a sweater. And this is by Handmaiden. It's their Super Kid Silk, which is 70% fine kid mohair and 30% silk. This is a one-of-a-kind. They'll do these one-of-a-kind colorways. Look at that. And I just thought, you know what? I wonder how that would look blended with this. And I'm really tempted to use this instead of the gray. Oh God, how do I do this now? How did they have this done? There we go. Anyway. So I think what I'm going to do is use this with this. So I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this with this. So that is the only yarn I have bought this year using my gift card that I got for Christmas. But I would like to get my stash all put together in one place and then track through the year how much of my stash I have used. Because if I'm not adding to it, it's really going to give me a good idea of how much stash I can get through in the course of the year. That's my plan. So I do have to kind of go through and see what is in my Ravelry stash and what isn't, and then take those pictures and add them to it just so that I have everything I own in there, because that will give me a total. Oh my God, I have the hiccups. That'll give me a total, and then that will make it easier for me to kind of start with the total and then mark that in my bullet journal as I go. Anyway, that's the plan. So that is about it. I feel like I've rambled on a really long time, and I know there's going to probably be some major editing to do. So I'm going to let you guys go. Happy knitting, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.